This week, a district-wide truancy policy was implemented for habitually truant students in Belen Consolidated Schools.
Excessive unexcused absences could land parents in front of a judge. Dr. Romero is the district's Student Support Programs Liaison, and he joins us with the details. Good morning.
Good morning,
Dr. Romero. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk first about the truancy problem that exists in the Belen School District for those who don't know.
Okay. Well, first I'd like to start by thank you for having me. And
it's our pleasure.
I would like to start by saying that our approach, our solutions, and our interventions are based on the premise that truancy is a symptom of a larger problem, usually but not always within the family. Our approach is to try to talk to the parents and increase the number of times that we talk to them about what's going on.
So you've been having, this has been an ongoing problem where students are just skipping class altogether, and you think that maybe sometimes it goes back to the parents. How have you tried to, or how's the district tried to mitigate this problem in the past?
Yes, we've looked to other school districts, APS for example, and we implemented truancy prevention workshops. We call the parents in and have a workshop about truancy, the importance of education. We've also done the traditional things of sending letters home, having SAT meetings with the parents, and home visits and those types of things.
So making sure that the parents are aware, because sometimes they're not even aware that a problem even exists. So it's important that you get those parents involved. And so obviously you're looking for solutions. Where are you looking right now for the solutions?
Okay, we recently visited Santa Fe. They have probably the longest running teen court in the state. Very effective. We've also looked to the north to our sister district, the Los Lunas schools. Last year they prosecuted 230 parents for violation of the Compulsory School Act.
230?
Yes.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot of kids.
So what's happening here is, so have you found, is it parents, or are they just not doing their job? Like, why are these kids skipping school? I mean, is it a lot of times on the parents?
A lot of times it is, unfortunately. A lot of times there's a misunderstanding about what the requirements of the law are, that they are mandated to send their kids to school. So there's a very variable reasons why.
And it's a shame, because you want to make it fun for kids. You want people to look forward to getting an education. Sometimes it's too late. You think about when you graduate from school, you look back and say, I wish I was in school again. We all miss it when it's too late, and it's important that you get them involved, and of course for not just the reasons of education, but like you said, legal reasons as well.
What age group do you see this happening mostly with?
We start at kindergarten, and yes, and of course our most of our problem is, late elementary school years, middle school, and of course the high school. Last year, this year so far, we have 550 students in need of intervention. So that means 5 unexcused absences, and we have 220 students who are habitual truant. Which means 10 days or more unexcused absences. That's about 17% of our population who we have to address, find solutions for. And what we want to do is engage parents in conversations to find out what's going on, because we know it's not truancy, something else is going on.
You're ultimately looking out for the kids on this.
Yes, we are.
Whenever they may be in a bad home situation. Now, can you give us some of the details of the policy now that you have implemented?
Yes. At 5 days now, we're asking the parents to go to the school and sign an attendance contract. Okay, so there's an opportunity to sit down with the administrator at the school and say, what's going on? Why is your kid missing school?
In the early stages.
In the early stages. And then at 7 days, we're asking them to go to the Student Support Programs office and have a conversation about, okay, you've had an opportunity to go to school, you know the consequences for continued truancy, what's going on? And so if that doesn't work, then at 10 days, we ask the parents to go to truancy court, and now JPPO steps in, Juvenile Probation and Parole, and says, you guys have to go to truancy court. We need to find a solution. And they have a lot of great programs with JPPO. And we're starting teen court. We have a risk assessment center that when parents come into my office, we can ask, do some questioning, find out what's going on.
The deeper reasoning.
Exactly, and try to get the kids some help.
Well, how have the parents responded thus far?
So far, it's been interesting. It's been a mix because we've limited the number of reasons why kids can miss school, and so when you do that, there's going to it's a change. But I think ultimately, when parents realize, every parent that I've talked to, when they realize that we're doing it to keep kids in school, they really understand.
And they did this in Los Lunas with
done
the
this in
schools,
Los Lunas.
and it was, I'm sure it was a success, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's why you guys are doing it.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
And I know a lot of parents are wondering, you know what? Back in the high school days, we cut class too. You know what happens sometimes. What do you say to the parents who are like, you know, I can't control my kids in high school. I do what I can to make sure they get there.
Right.
What do you say to them that?
We say, well, your son or daughter might be a candidate for teen court, and in teen court we can provide some sanctions, maybe picking up trash on Saturdays. I don't think too many teens want to do that.
No.
Or some other community service project. So we're hoping to approach it that way.
Well, let me ask you this. What happens to the parents if they don't oblige?
Now the parents, if we know that it's a elementary school level, usually, you know, at the middle school, high school, it's a combination of the child attitude or problem. But at the elementary school, we know it's the parents that are responsible.
Right.
So you know, there's sanctions there. They're not big. They don't have a there's not a big bite in it.
Okay.
But there are sanctions. They could be fined. They have to go to court. It takes time to do all that, so it's an inconvenience. They have to hear from us. They get letters. They get called to truancy court.
And nobody wants that.
No.
And you know, I would imagine a lot of parents, when you do get that iffy response, that maybe they're just feeling, well, this is my child. You can't tell me how to raise my child. If my child wants to stay home today and I want to let them stay home, that shouldn't be anybody's problem but our family. But I think it's important that you step in at this level, because like Kristen said, it's only for their best interest.
That's correct. That's
looking
correct.
out for the kids. Real quick, you were talking about the unexcused absences. What constitutes an unexcused absence?
Anything other than family illness. I'm sorry, family death in the family.
Okay.
An approved school activity. Medical excuse. Death in the family. And medical
so
emergency.
family vacation.
So like 4 things. No.
Not on there.
Cloudy day,
Can't do that.
too much rain, don't want to get in the car.
Right.
No, well, this is a concern, just because we talk a lot about the storms that are coming up, and the school. What happens if it's not a snow day or proclaimed snow day, but it's bad where the person lives and the parent doesn't want them to leave for school, they can't drive or for whatever? Would that be considered an excuse?
That's understandable, and that could happen, especially in the rural area like where we live.
Sure.
So yes, it would, unfortunately, it would be considered unexcused, but you know what we're looking at is a child not to become habitually truant, which is 10 days. Is that going to happen 10 days in the school year?
Exact. Good point. Very good point. Well, Dr. Romero, thank you so much. Such important information and wonderful thing you're doing to help educate the community and keep those kids in school.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here.
Thanks very much.
All right, coming up next, ultimate camp cooking with Mac and the Big Cheese. Stick around.